Welcome to Tommy Solo's Famous Friends. This is part two of my conversation with iconic Canadian singer Alex Machin. Where we left off in part one, Alex was telling us about his time in LA as a staff writer with United Artists. And let's pick it up from where we left off. Back to the show. You were singing and playing for the song, and everything was to that end, serving the song.
Yeah, no, to me, less is more. If it's good, it's instantaneous. You can feel it, you can hear it. And to me, anyway, like I said, I liked all those artists that I mentioned because of the voice mainly. That's always what attracted me to different songs, right? If the guy is a great singer, I instantly gravitate towards their music.
Right. Now, when you started out, we've already covered that you really didn't know what you're doing. Now, all those years later, had you picked up any tips and any techniques along the way that helped you maintain the voice?
You know what? I never really, I'm not a trained singer, never, I never went down that path. It just came natural to me, I guess, right? But I regret that I probably didn't get the proper training and breathing exercises that you can do and that you see today. But I had a sound, and why change it if it's working? That's kind of the way I felt.
Yeah, well, having a natural voice is one thing, but I'm sure that you're looking after yourself physically because you don't end
Yep.
up in your 70s and still have a clear voice. You don't have any rasp in your speaking voice, and your recent music is clean as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I've taken some time off here and there through the career. I mean, it hasn't been constant, so I guess I don't have the miles on me that some of the guys do. But hey, you know, we're still going here. We're still trying to put out songs that people hopefully will like. And I'm best friends with Danny still. I mean, we've been getting together all these years, and he helps me out whenever I ask him to. He's probably one of the best drummers in Canada. And, he's had accolades from like Neil Peart and people like that who, respect his ability. And he's been a great help for me. He comes down to my studio in the basement here and we have fun. We just, I present an idea or, we're going to get together and present ideas to each other in the near future and just keep the spark alive so that the Foot and Water fans know that the band still has a heartbeat.
No kidding. It's interesting when you have a drummer in the band who really understands the music part. I've played with some really good drummers over the years, and they couldn't do anything other than a cover band because they don't understand the music. And I get the impression when I talked to Danny and we talked about how they came up with Make Me Do Anything You Want. And, he's listening and he's thinking of what we can do to get out of the solo, and then Huey, I guess, starts noodling. Editor's note, I apologize for that incessant beeping. As will sometimes happen while we're doing these phone interviews, somebody else tries to call me. And no thank you, I do not want my carpets cleaned. Now, back to the show. Anyway, so Huey's noodling, and he comes up with the doodle-doodle-ding, doodle-doodle-ding. Danny says, what's that? Oh, nothing. No, I like it. And then what we'll do after that is go bum 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 bum. So to have a drummer that understands arrangements and melody, that's golden. I've
Oh, no. Danny has a musical ear. He's a huge talent. As all the members of that band were. Bob Horn. In the nucleus, he was the lead instrument, right? So I mean, he understood melodies and progressions and were kind of jazzy, right? And so he could really play the B3 and of course Nauman, who was a virtuoso, and Huey Leggett. I mean, he's probably the best bass player in Canada. I mean, when Bob left the band and we went three-piece with me singing, which means four-piece, I guess, Huey became the lead bass player. He would do solos that would just blow your mind. It was really, that was the last tour we were doing before we broke up. And we were poised and ready to go to California. I think we would have made quite a bit of noise down there if we would have stayed as a unit and completed that dream that we were on the quest to do.
Yeah, what would have and what might have been. But
Yeah, but you look through your whole career and there was lots of opportunities along the way. But I mean, when you look back at the whole thing, you go, wow, this was pretty amazing. The times that we've spent, like, I mean, back to the champion days when I was in Michigan with Robin Robbins. One day we were writing in Robin's studio and Mark Farner shows up and he starts singing with me at a baby grand piano. I mean, like Mark Farner, they sold out stadiums in 30 minutes, right? I mean,
yeah,
they were
Grand
huge
Funk
at Grand Funk.
Rail. Yeah, Grand
Yeah,
Funk.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Editor's note, for those who are wondering who Mark Farner is, he was the main man in a band called Grand Funk or Grand Funk Railroad. Look them up on YouTube. It's some pretty awesome stuff. Now back to Alex.
So here he is. He's singing at a baby grand piano with me, and I actually have the tape of him singing background on one of my songs. So it was, the moments that you look back on. It's just been an incredible run.
No kidding. Now, something that I I talked to Earl Johnson from Moxy
Yeah,
several
Earl.
times, and
Yep, I know Earl.
he's a really good guy. And when he told me that you were the singer in Moxy for a while, I thought, wow. So that's quite interesting. And you spent 4 years touring with them around Texas and so on.
Yeah, I don't think it was that long. But anyway, yeah, the connection again goes back to the very first drummer in Ireland, Kim Hunt. He was always remained a friend of mine, and he was drumming for Moxie at the time. And him and Jim Sampson, who I had also played with, both the bass player from Zon and the drummer from Zon, they approached me about coming on board to sing for Moxie. I think Brian Maxim at the time wasn't well. He had to back off from singing with them. And I went, okay, I'll give it a try. And then we went down to San Antonio, and performed in front of their rabid fans because they were quite huge in Texas, right? And, I love Buzz Sherman. He was a friend of mine. And when he died, I took it very hard. So I was very happy to, fill in his shoes and try to do the best I could to complement what he did in the band.
And we'll be right back after this. Yeah, those are pretty big shoes to fill for sure.
Yep.
You got to take some pride in knowing that there are people at that level who have that much confidence in you to be able to carry that torch. Man. But now, after all these years, you and Danny have been back at it and you've got new music. So, what's happening and how did this come to be?
Well, it all revolves around this pandemic that everybody's been going through, right? I mean, what to do? So actually, my son, Connor Machin, he's very interested in music. He's got a career in advertising, but on the side, he's been taking courses and studying on the internet about studios and music. And he goes, look, Dad, you've got nothing to do. You used to be songwriting all the time. Get back to it and keep yourself busy. So my wife and him set me up with this studio downstairs. They researched the equipment and got me all this stuff. And he taught me how to use it, which, hard to teach an old dog new tricks. But here I am down here in my little studio in my rec room. And, we're pumping out these songs that I've been writing lately. And they seem to be going over well with the fans. And we're actually getting quite a good sound down here because technology's come so far that it's allowing you to duplicate what happens in a 24 track studio right in front of your eyes. You can take an electronic drum kit and make it sound like John Bonham, right? So it's incredible what you can do. And I've picked up the guitar again. And, what I do is I write the song, put it down, put a bass part down. Then I get a real guitar player. One of my real guitar players that, I love, they come in and they help me out and do it for real. And Danny comes in and plays on a little kit that's so small that he can't believe he can actually do it and makes it sound like I said, John Bonham. And we're putting out these songs. I've got the YouTube page, alexmachin.ca. Anyone can look it up and find my YouTube page with channel. And we have the songs that you mentioned, Kiss the Night Away, Rock Across the Sky, the ones I did way back then in California, and then all the new music that we've done.
It's all great stuff and it deserves to be heard. And this is one of the reasons why I do this podcast, because there are people like you, Alex, who I find a lot of the boomers and people of our generation, they're wondering whatever happened to. And you're still here, you're still kicking, you're still rocking, and it's awesome.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm really happy with these songs. I mean, what I've done lately is I've written a ballad that has not been heard yet. It's all about the mental health situation that's happening worldwide. Maybe because of the pandemic, it's being brought to the forefront. It's a really, really good song, and I've actually hooked up with a producer. His name is Bruce Fowler, and he's got a studio up north. And him and I have been working on this song, Hear Your Cries, and it's going to be a special song. I've really got high hopes for it. We've done a band version, Danny and I, down here in the studio, but this piano situation with Bruce Fowler, he's taken it in a different direction, and we're hoping for big things from it.
That sounds really awesome. And it is important to work with an objective and talented producer. I know that in my case, when I go into the studio, I spend a lot of time on details ahead of time, and I consider that my stuff is mostly self-produced before I go in. But then when the guy on the console says, you know what? You're a really good lead guitar player, so why don't you play like one? It's little things like that
Right.
that really give you a boost. So working with the producers is really important and a good one.
Yeah, and he has a fantastic studio, and he laid down the piano on an 8-foot grand, and it just sounds spectacular. And so I redid my vocal to suit his piano, and so we're hoping to take it from there. And we're going to add some guitar and orchestration, and maybe a choir at the end, and so we'll see where it goes. And hopefully we can put it out, and people like it.
We'll all look forward to that, that's for sure. Well, you've been praising the musicians that you've worked with, and that's great, and you have and still play with some amazing artists, musicians, and I find that's important. A lot of guys will just get into a band and it's like, well, I'm the singer and I'm the best guy in the band and whatever, and you're not really playing with people that are at your level. So I think it's important for me. I want to be in a band with guys that I feel like are at a level above me, you know? Editor's note, I keep mentioning playing in a band with guys and guys this and guys that, but just to clarify, I do believe in gender equality in music and have played alongside many talented females over the years. Now, back to the show. It sounds like you've got some great people helping you out with this stuff, so tell me about some of the players that are involved with you.
Yeah, no, I've always loved having a great guitar player in a band. I mean, obviously with Paul Nauman as an example, you can't use someone who is not up to his level. So helping me out in the studio here in my home recording studio is Mike Hall, who's a great guitar player. He played in a band called Killer Dwarfs, and he's been really helpful coming down, and he played on one of my songs called How Long and Under the Starlight, which are on the YouTube channel. Another friend of mine, a great guitar player, Gus Pappas. He played on the latest song that we have, Till They Bury Me, which is the last song that I've just put out. So I'm really happy with all the playing and friendships from these guitar players that I've received.
Sounds good to me, and we'll look forward to the projects as they come.
Yeah, and more to come.
Now, I want to ask you, if I were a young man, maybe in my teens, and I'm just thinking about getting into singing in a band, would you have any advice for me?
I mean, America's Got Talent and all these shows, you see the talent that's available and the ability of the singers that they have on there. It's just incredible. There's so much talent out there now. Advice, just keep at it, right? I mean, if you believe in yourself, you've just got to keep pursuing your dream.
That is good advice. I know there are a lot of people that get knocked off the horse and they can't get back on it. And I've tried to kind of poke at you a little bit to see if you had any little tidbits about technique. And I find that talking to you, I think that it's a big deal to be confident. You're confident, and you're self assured. And again, I gather that you must be
That
looking
wasn't
after yourself.
always, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, after you've had some favorable response and so on, I find
Yep.
that a really good artist has to have an ego to a point, and it's great if you can turn it on right before you hit the stage and then turn it off after you leave the stage. But that's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah, and you're surrounded by talent in your own group and whatever, and that makes it easier because you're part of a unit, right? It's not, you've got something to grasp onto. You've got other people that are like family to you at the time, and you just go and do it together. I mean, it just makes it a little bit easier. But a solo artist like that, I mean, I delved into it, but and I'm sure it would have been fine, but I always had the comfort of being in a unit that was family. Yeah, no, I was never looking to be my own entity. It was kind of forced on me because the band broke up and I had to figure out what I was going to do. But yeah, no, music business is one of the hardest businesses there is. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you get up a little bit and someone's going to knock you down. It's just inevitable. If everybody could do it, they would, right? It's just incredible how hard it is. And you just have to stick with it. I guess that'd be the only advice I really have for a young performer.
Well, that is sage advice. Listen, Alex, I don't want to tie you up all day here. I know you have things to do and people to see and all that. I want to thank
Yep.
you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me today. And until next time, cheers.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tommy.
Well, I hope you enjoyed part two of my conversation with Alex Machin. And don't worry if you missed part one, it is out there. Just look up Tommy Solo's Famous Friends. And I will be putting a link in the show notes to all of his latest stuff, including the newest stuff from A Foot in Cold Water. Now, for your listening pleasure, from his 1980 series of demos, here is Kiss the Night Away. Enjoy.
Tells him that she really loves
Tommy Solo's Famous Friends is a one-man production, meaning that I've done all the work, including recording, editing, guest acquisition, etc. And hey, here's some news. We've just recently joined forces with 519 Magazine, so you can check out my interviews there as well. The theme song for Tommy Solo's Famous Friends is a clip from my original composition, The Burn, all rights reserved. If you enjoy the show and you'd like to help us keep it going, why don't you click on the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, cheers.